All right, Sheena, we are live. Sheena, welcome to the podcast.
Hey Michael, thank you so much for having me here today. It's such an honor to be on the show today.
Yeah, I know you were telling me you're excited, you're also a little nervous. I know you've put so much time into this book, so I'm really excited to chat. And I appreciate your flexibility. As you can see behind me, it's nighttime here, so thanks for taking the time. For those who don't know Sheena, let me make the introduction. Today's guest is Sheena Yap Chan, a Wall Street Journal and Publisher's Weekly best-selling author, strategist, keynote speaker, and award-winning podcaster. As the voice behind the Tao of Self-Confidence, which was top 0.5% globally, with 1 million plus downloads, 800 plus interviews with celebrities and eight-figure CEOs, she helps women break through barriers to leadership. Her debut book, published by Wiley, is recognized as one of the top 20 self-confidence books of all time. And her follow-up book, which she just published, is called Bridging the Confidence Gap, and it continues her mission of closing the gender confidence gap. Sheena's work has been featured on Mind Valley, Fox, NBC News, and the Manila Times, and she's delivered keynotes to the Live Nation, NASA, and UKG. Sheena, welcome to the podcast.
Hey Michael, thank you again for having me. It's such an honor to be here today and super excited to just chat.
Yeah, of course. So why don't we just jump right into the book first and foremost? Give us like a bird's eye view. What's this book about?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, women's equality, there's still a huge gap between that. Part of the reason why I wrote this book was because there was a report by the World Economic Forum that mentioned that gender parity would be achieved at the earliest in the year 2154. Unfortunately, that stat was when I wrote the book, which was sometime last year. Now it's actually delayed 4 more years. So now the earliest now will be 2158. So that's over
Mm.
130 years. It's going to take at least 5 generations. And I don't think anybody wants to wait for that, especially not me. And so I decided to write this book, especially since confidence is a huge barrier that women face in all industries. And there is a gap for women, right? The gap is, knowing that they're capable, but believing that they're capable. If they don't have that self-belief that they're capable to go out there and do things, nothing's going to happen. And so it's really important to help women see that, believe in themselves and see that capability and know that they can do it. It just takes a little bit of push, takes books like this to guide them through that. One of the things that women really deal with, I know men deal with this too, I'm not saying men doesn't deal with this, but women deal with it a lot more, is imposter syndrome, feeling like a fraud, feeling not good enough. And that actually makes up almost 75% of, female corporate workers in the corporate world. So that's a big number. And so some of the topics that we tackle is, imposter syndrome, learning to promote yourself, or no, learning to, self-promotion, right? I think that's so important. What it takes to be a leader, highlighting the benefits of having more women in leadership because it's a win-win situation for everyone, and also still understanding the many gaps that women still face. So I know it's kind of a little bit all over the place, but
Not at all.
yeah, that's a little
Um,
bit about the book.
Very well understood. And yeah, I completely agree with you that everyone benefits from having, there are certain sectors and that are predominantly male. Let's just say computer science and programming. I can say that when I went to college, we started off in our degree, and we ended off with a much smaller number, but we started off with around 40 people, and we had maybe 5 or 6 women in the entire course. And I think we graduated with 1 or 2 women. Uh, and it's unfortunate because although we are different, right? Males and females are like in a macro sense slightly different, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a great thing because having more having more women in computer science or STEM-based careers will provide a uniquely different perspective to solving a lot of the challenges and engineering challenges we have today. So yeah, I mean, I fundamentally agree with you that everyone would benefit from such a thing. Now, your mission is very nuanced and specific. I wonder what inspired you to head on this mission.
It's so funny. I think for me, it really started with my own confidence. I never had a lot of confidence. I second guessed myself. I couldn't make a decision. I thought I wasn't good enough. And I wanted to look for resources that also catered to Asian women, just because, I mean, I'm Asian. and and I couldn't find anything and this was like a little under 10 years ago, so in 2015. Um, I couldn't find any resources that catered to Asian women's confidence, and for me, representation was still very important because growing up in North America, we hardly saw that. And so I decided to be the support and start the podcast, right? I started the podcast, I launched in September of 2015. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what a podcast was, to be honest, but I went for it. And because of that, I've been able to interview over 800 women on this topic.
Wow.
And it led to writing books because, I mean, having a podcast is a labor of love. But it's still a very small platform compared to other media platforms. I think globally, there's like maybe under 4 million active podcast shows from what I can remember. So that's really small compared to like YouTube, books,
Right.
TV. And so I really wanted to, expand my visibility, expand the visibility, especially to spread this message. And that's when I started getting into writing books. I've never written a book my entire life. I moved from the Philippines to Canada when I was 7. I had to take English classes because I couldn't speak English properly at the time. And so I never thought writing a book was something I would ever do, let alone write a book for a publisher like Wiley, because they're known for business and education. If you check
Right.
out all the For Dummies books, it's actually published by them. So when I was approached to write the first book, I was actually shocked and also dealing with my own imposter syndrome because I didn't think I was the person to write about leadership. Like, I had no idea what that looked like. I didn't know if I even saw myself as a leader, but I went ahead and did it. And then it came out in May of 2023, and now we have the new book, Bridging the Confidence Gap. So it's still published by Wiley. So, having 2 books by a major publisher was a big, big deal.
Yeah.
Especially, like being Asian, being an Asian woman, it's not very typical. And then writing my first book in my 40s as well, because as women, we've been conditioned that there's an expiry date, and so I want people to realize there's no expiry date. You can literally start at any given moment. Would I like to have started a little bit earlier? Yeah, of course, we all do, right? I think that's just everybody, but
Right.
everything happens for a reason. And being able to tell you, hey, I've not written only 1 but 2 books for Wiley, which is one of like the top 5 publishers in the world, is a big deal. And it's
Yeah.
doable because if someone like me can do it, who like had to take English classes, don't have a fancy degree, I just have this mission and this passion to help women break through and realize their potential. I mean, that's something that I just kept focusing on, even if I had no clue where it was going. And confidence is something we all deal with, especially women. I realize that no matter what industry women face, and of course, I'm not saying this is all women. There's some, women out there who are doing well, um, but most women are dealing with confidence issues, right? And
Right.
confidence is the barrier that stops them from going into those places. It's one of the main reasons. Of course, there's other things like just how we're treated in society, just the many gaps we still face, things like that. So that's a little bit of how I got into all of this.
Right. I'll say one thing to add to what you were saying. I mean, you kind of, when you first came to Canada from the Philippines, you were at a serious disadvantage, and you found a way to make your life work. And I can significantly relate to that point, at least to some degree. As I'm growing up with aggressive ADHD, and a lot of people, and at first you do struggle with the confidence factor, but learning how to break out of that, it's like the reward is really on the other end, because you end up learning so much in such a short period of time. You end up adapting so aggressively that gives you a self of confidence that life is only like, usually your challenges forward, adapting like everyone else is a little easier than getting that initial push from being at a serious disadvantage and catching up with everyone else. And you take that with you for the rest of your life. So, it seems like you figured it out, which is absolutely amazing.
Thank
Now,
you.
if you're speaking to women, what tips of advice would you give them? And maybe not just women, maybe everyone who's struggling with confidence and trying to make their way into the world. What kind of advice, what pieces of advice would you give to them to at least get started on that journey?
I think the best advice I would give somebody is just start. Like, I know that's the hardest thing to do, believe me. I've been there. I've delayed my journey so many times. I've always wanted everything perfect to a T. But, you know, chasing perfection will get you nowhere. So just start messy. You're going to make mistakes. You're
Fail
going to
forward,
pivot.
as they say.
Yeah, fail forward. In the book, I talk about the formula to leadership, and I call it ready, fire, aim. So you just go, take action, and course correct as you go. Not ready, aim, fire, ready, fire, aim. So that you take action and you keep correcting as you go. And the more you can practice that, just that's how you get results, right? As
Right.
women, we've been conditioned to be perfect, to do everything perfect to a T.
Right. And
But
confidence allows you to take that blow of failure
yeah,
because you see the bigger picture and you're determined to push forward.
yeah. And so because we wait for perfection, we're just waiting. We just keep waiting because perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. But if when we can just go take that first step, make that mistake, course correct, it just that's how we get results. That's how we take action, and that's how we can figure things out. That's how we can solve problems and then create new ideas and then um, contribute them to the world that will create a positive impact. If you look at famous people or people of big influence or top entrepreneurs, they started with just starting, figuring it out, and making a lot of mistakes along the way. Nobody, a lot of people you see online sometimes have no clue what they're doing. I can tell you as well, there's days where I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to just take action because I know it's going to get me a result. Whether it's good or bad, um, everything's either a blessing or a lesson. So, I think sometimes it's important to talk about this because we feel like we have to figure everything out when really we just have to start. Like, I know I was the type of person who had a million and one ideas, and I didn't even execute one idea, like, at all.
Right.
Because I just like had all these ideas. I was like, oh, I have this idea, I have this idea, I have this idea, and then not one did I execute.
Yeah,
So
and they say an idea is 0% of of your project. It's like
yeah,
it's the very, 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 very first step.
yeah.
Yeah.
So start, and if you need someone to help you to start, do it. You don't have to do this alone.
Right. Well, well said. Very well said. Yeah, and I was also wondering, you mentioned on one of your titles of your book, you wrote, where is it? Courage before confidence.
Yes.
I really like that. I wanted to know what you meant by that.
I mean, we all think that we need we need confidence to go out there and do things. Actually, we need the courage to go out there and do it. And once we do it, we have the confidence to keep going, right?
Mm.
So, um, I mean, there's so many things that I had to build courage to go out there and do things. Showing up has been very like scary at times, 'cause especially in this world of social media and like cancel culture. Like one little thing you say and it just blows up,
Right.
right? I've been fortunate that I haven't gotten anything that crazy. I have gone through like hate comments and things like that. But I mean
Right.
that's part of the territory when you put yourself out there.
Right.
But for me, I believe that in order to build confidence, I think the courage has to come first because we all have fears, right? I mean, I have fears. Even Bono has fear, right? He
Right.
says he still gets scared before he goes on stage, and he uses that actually to fuel him to go out there and give the best performance of his life.
Hmm.
I remember I was asked to be interviewed live for CGTN, which is one of the biggest news networks in China, and so I just said yes, and I didn't even know how big they were. Right? I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. I'll be interviewed. I looked at their Facebook page, and they had like 110 million followers, and I almost had a heart attack because I was like, oh my god! And this was live, right? Live, so there's like it's not pre-recorded. And I said, okay, well, I have to go. I already said yes, right? Like this is where the courage comes in.
Right.
And there was one point where the host asked me a question, and I literally blanked out. And it was about 10 seconds, and 10 seconds may seem short, but 10 seconds in TV world is like super long. Like
Right.
it's like hours. So
It's an eternity. I agree.
yeah, so if he didn't ask me a follow-up question, I probably would have blanked out a lot more. And because I was able to go through that whole interview and survive it, and I said, you know what, I didn't die, I'm still here. it actually built my confidence because I was like, if this was the worst that happened to me, like blanking out on national Chinese TV, and I was able to do it, I mean, I can handle anything else. And I have more confidence to go out there and do other things. But it took
Right.
the courage of me to just do it, even though knowing that, oh my God, there's going to be so many people watching, to get there. So, and then I shared different ways to build courage as well so that you can have that confidence. Because I used to think you needed confidence then courage, but really it's you need courage then confidence. The
Got
confidence
it.
comes.
Got it. Amazing. One last question for you
Yeah.
here. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh my gosh. It's so funny when people ask me this question because I'm always like, I don't even know where I'll be 5 days
Well,
from
it's
now.
good because you'll listen to it in 5 years from now and you'll laugh.
Yeah, like
Because
I was.
hopefully you'll have gone so much farther than your best ambitions now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I'm going 5 days from now, to be honest. But
Right.
I mean, honestly, continue doing this work. It's so important to help women see their potential, because when they can believe in their own potential, that's when they take action. Every
Hmm.
single person out there is capable, does have the potential to do something great, but how they perceive themselves really stops them from moving forward. And so I just want to keep on continuing doing this work because unfortunately, even though the World Economic Forum already changed the year we would get gender parity at the earliest in 2158, I think it's still going to be a lot later. Just because those women, you look at Afghanistan, where women's basic human rights are stripped away from
Right.
them. You know,
Highest. Yes. Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
can't go to school, can't work, can't show their faces, can't talk to each other, can't even sing in their own homes. Like when I saw
Right.
videos of them singing in their own homes, like to us that's normal, but to them that's really a life or death situation. So,
Right.
seeing that, it's a lot that takes a lot of courage, right? To do that. I mean, you're dealing with a group that's not nice. And so for me, I guess for me it's just continuing that, showing women what's possible, showing them that there is someone out there who is walking the walk, and even if at times I don't know what I'm doing, I just know I'm going somewhere, and that it'll lead me to wherever I need to go.
Right. Sheena, that was a beautiful answer, and I appreciate your time and thank you for your wisdom. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right.